Hey guys, a little shave today. Continuing to celebrate Williams. Yesterday or last shave was when I realized that Williams has been discontinued, and so we're going to do another shave with the Williams that I have in this Old Spice mug. And we're going to be putting the Nacet blade into my Gillette Hybrid Tech, a vintage new. I guess officially it's in the new razor category, like the new deluxe, the new short comb, the new long comb, and indeed except for the fact that it's a solid bar, the base plate looks very much like the new long comb base plate. And there's that raised flat bottom, which occurs on some of the new models. We're going to be using I think it's 507N is the official horse XS. It's extra soft. It's a Zenith horse, and it's extra soft. That's a key word with them because it does mean it's different than the other horse brushes. And I'm glad, because this guy still has a little bit of prickle, and it does take a long time for them to break in. But even now, it's kind of fun to use. It's my only horse brush. I figured I should have one in my inventory, right? And so when I heard about the extra soft, I said, if there's a horse brush that would work for me, then I'll bet it might be that one. I did try a horse years and years ago. It was a V-long, and it had this crazy long loft. Oh my goodness, it was almost impractical. And so I used it once, and I maybe even didn't finish the shave with it. You know, it was just weird. It was long, but it was also a kind of a small diameter, and so it was just like using your finger to lather, just flat back and forth and laggy and all that, you know. And it was really hard and prickly as well. All right, so the Nacet is loaded up. This is a UFO Calibri handle, by the way, that I put on the head for the vintage hybrid tech. Now today we will do. Last time we did a 60-second load with the little boar brush, and this time let's do about 35 seconds, just because I ended up with totally too much lather last time. So let's try something different. Shake out some of the water, and I do not have any kind of soaking or water on this one at all, so it just has the moisture from yesterday. 45 rolled around right there, and so we'll go to 20 on the next minute. Almost got my Badger, but I kind of like the handle that I have on that particular Badger, and you can kind of hear an occasional clink. I didn't want that to happen and kind of mess up my brush. Put some dings on it, eventually that'll start to show. So this is an unsoaked puck. A lot of people claim that you have to, soak Williams. As a matter of fact, if you look up Williams and lathering and stuff, everybody's got a different method. And that's fine. If you find a method that works well for you, then that is good. That's the one you should use. All right, so this is what the brush looks like. And I'm going to work into the bowl for just a second, just to kind of make sure that the water that was in the brush gets to combine with the soap to some degree. Another precaution about horse brushes is that because they can sometimes have a different kind of bristle in boar or badger, a little bit more flex in some cases, depending on where the hair comes from the animal, they can sometimes tangle. And that's one of the reasons that guys like to throw in the more coarse bristles, because they're less likely to tangle maybe. And so it is a practice for guys to get a long type of hair pick type comb or something, and just make sure they comb their knots out after every use. This one reports were on the reviews that you didn't have to do that. For some reason it does keep itself pretty straight, pretty squared away. Now already, just with adding a little bit of water, we're getting this kind of lather. You can see it's very light. But always with Williams, don't be fooled by that light lather. It still needs to kind of come together into something more of a cream. I think a lot of people get lulled into thinking that that's good to put on your face. And while it is somewhat slick, it often is the kind of lather that will dissipate on you. Needs more water. It's like it doesn't go through that same process like a lot of other soaps do, where you watch it change from a paste. I think Williams doesn't have a paste phase, you know? And so it catches people off guard and they end up trying it out because it's all traditional and stuff, or it's inexpensive. But it doesn't really have a paste phase like like a lot of the artisan soaps do. It almost has a dry phase, an airy dry phase, and that's what I showed you at first. But they did comb, the company that has bought Williams did decide to discontinue the soap, the traditional hard puck. Prices are already rising on Amazon and eBay. If you look around in your local grocery stores, especially the ones that one might consider kind of country, or where old people like to go, then those might be the ones that are more likely to have Williams. Now look at that appearance. See, it's gaining more solidity because we're adding water and it's getting more solid. That's just the nature and the mischievousness of Williams. It's not too bad. We're only 7.5 minutes into the video. And part of that was introducing the products, you know, so that's really not too bad. It's not a super long time. Now, the last time I observed that it seemed like maybe Williams needed time on the face. Instead of bringing it to completion on the bowl, in the bowl here, it needed time on the face to really come together and be all creamy. So why don't we stop now? It's still very, it has come together into this big glob of a lather. It's got more weight to it, as you can see how it's moving due to that weight because of the water. Let's try starting with that and just seeing if I end up in a good place. A little Williams experiment. Get my face wet. So right now we put about 24 milliliters of water in that lather. So 35 seconds of loading, and it looks like I've got plenty of soap. I wanted to choose a Badger because they're just super soft. All the Badgers I have, a Badger's only going to stick around if it is soft and doesn't have any scritch or scratch, you know. And I thought, you know, if I want to have to work a little extra on my face to kind of mature the Williams lather, then I want it to be with a really nice soft Badger. But I'm enjoying this horse. Sometimes it doesn't have any prickle, and over the years, if I can get that many uses into it, it will actually start to get softer. I wonder if the hairdryer treatment might work on a horse brush, like it's working so far with the boar brushes. Well, as you can see, this is a pretty thick lather. I mean, not compared to those guys who overload an artisan soap and it's just all paste on their face. I'm not saying that's wrong, it's just definitely not my preference. I'm going to add a water here to the brush. Not really feeling any prickle, so that's good. These, like I told you, the horse bristles are often very easy bending, which leads them to knot up a little bit sometimes, but it also means that they can be pretty comfortable and easy to display. Right now, I really don't think I'd have a problem with this brush if I had to switch to it 100% of the time. If I was in a desert island or something like that. Now look at what happened here. I added more water to the lather and bam, this awesome, delicious stuff has started to generate itself. Add a little bit more water to the brush. So now it's turning that Williams and really turning it more into the cream. It still was a little bit dry when I put it on, relatively speaking. It's like the water steps in and fills in those airy holes. Day and a half of growth is what we're looking at this time. Yeah, that lather looks great. Got a little bit of sheen on it sometimes. It's probably the ease of splay here that's bringing me back to this horse brush so often. People do turn to horse because they are upset at the treatment of animals, and a horse is not harmed by the gathering of the bristles for the brush industry. He's not killed like he is with badgers. Nacet, ooh, cutting nice and smoothly, easily moving through a day and a half of growth. No tugging or anything like that. Very slick. Blade cutting and the razor moving across my skin. Both very easily. I'm getting a slight bit of tugging on this side. And that's really funny. You know, that's why I pretty much could never do one of those comparisons where guys shave a half of their face with one razor and a half with the other, to try to do a simultaneous comparison, because the direction seems pretty much the same, but somehow they just shave differently. There we go. Very nice. Now, not a lot of residual slickness here, and so you do need to re-lather before you hit an area again. Get in there and load my brush up again with, 35 seconds. And, you know, if this lather would have dissipated a little bit or would have died somehow, like boar brushes sometimes tend to do it, I might have used up, you know, more of that soap, but it looks like the 35 seconds is going to deliver tons of soap here. I'm probably going to have 3 extra passes when I'm done. Left a little bit of water on my face here, so that's probably helping to combine with what was in the bowl too. I'm going to give it a little bit more to kind of turn into the cream, the nicest part of the lather. Because anybody who says that Williams isn't super slick hasn't gotten it to a good place yet. Probably stopped too soon, didn't add enough water, or didn't have enough soap. In terms of slickness, it really does compete with the top soaps out there. We, recently lost the tallow version of tobacco. It seems, at least in the European market. And so it seems it's a shame to lose Williams as well. But I usually comfort myself by the fact that it's just probably not enough guys buying it. So the just demand's not there. So even if you get some kind of groundswell effort and have people jump in and buy it, again, it's going to shift back to this neutral, back to the kind of status quo where not enough people are buying it to making it worth producing. This razor sometimes does have a little bit more aggression than I might like in a perfect world, but plenty enough that I can handle. I can handle it easily. And so that's why for me it was a little disappointing when I first got it, because it's the hybrid tech is a difficult razor to find. A lot of people regard as their kind of holy grail razor, and I was hoping for some kind of different shave that would warrant such legendary status, and I didn't get it. But that's probably because it's probably legendary for guys who want a little bit more blade feel, a little bit more aggression. I'd say medium to maybe a titch above medium, but that can be controlled. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that spot right there. That's just perfect. You can see a little bit of gloss to it. Great lather. So 35 seconds looks like that was unnecessary as well. In terms of load time. And this Nacet, this is just the perfect combination. This right here, this blade at now it's on its third use, is just perfect. It's we're controlling that kind of medium to slightly above medium aggression I was talking about with this blade, and even now this is just a touch-up pass, and it's not giving me any irritation. It's just like that perfect. The bevel on it must be just set perfectly for the geometry of this razor head. At least for my purposes. Lifting my chin up to help with stretching the skin, not overstretch it, but and there we go, that's 3 passes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rate this one as my highest comfort and efficiency rating here. I call it amazing or wonderful. I have a very good, which a lot of the nice combos will land on when I say it's a good match. I'll put it on very good, but it's this kind of shave where it just rides that perfect line between efficiency and comfort. It doesn't sacrifice comfort as it pursues efficiency, and it was just that perfect line combo with this particular razor and blade. So I'm going to mark this one a little higher so that in the future, if I'm ever wondering what the best blade is for me and this particular razor, I'm going to turn to the Nacet. I feel bad. I've got 3 or 4 more passes of lather here. And you can see it's got some firmness. It looks like I, generally speaking, don't want to take Williams as wet as I do other soaps. This is modern Williams. This is not vintage. Vintage is easier to lather. It's got more tallow in it. Behaves more predictably. Get myself a good rinse. It doesn't really seem that the horse brush is going to change too much. We don't really, I do see a few little outflyers here, but it's doing it much more slowly than a board does. And maybe eventually you'll see more hairs, out wide like that. But in general, he is not changing too much. And the tips don't clump together quite so much. I just towel stropped him It doesn't do it nearly like boar and stuff does. It's just a different hair. It's almost this knot is almost like a combo between a boar and a badger. It does have a little bit of backbone down here at the bottom, but not as much as as a lot of boars do. But then the flex seems to be, and the kind of density it's able to offer seems to kind of resemble more badger. And so it takes, maybe that's part of the mystique, part of the reason I like it so much. I definitely would recommend if you wanted to try a horse, but you like softer brushes, the extra soft from Zenith, I think is a great way to go. And I did choose this type of handle. I'm pretty happy with that. Because with the boar brush that has this handle from Zenith, I have to press down a lot to try to get those bristles to flex because it has a ton of backbone. But with this one, it's soft, and so this handle's fine. With the boar, because I'm having to press so much, a lot of that force, this ramp pushes my fingers down into this surface here, and it's not very enjoyable. But with the horse, it doesn't have to do that, and so it's a happy little. I'm deciding I want to get a silver tip from Zenith, and I don't know whether to get that handle, that same shape handle, or one of the others that they have. I'm a big fan of silver tips, and I'm a big fan of Zenith, so why not try out their silver tip? I didn't end up adding any more water. I just trickled a few drops in during that first pass. So, you could probably say 30 milliliters. It's what I used today. And as you could see, the 35-second load was overkill. If I wanted to use that soap tomorrow, I could probably go 25 seconds without a problem. All right, very good. Let's pick I have zero irritation, and that's why I'm putting this thing in a wonderful category of blade, comfort, and performance. And so also because I feel good, let's feel good to use an alcohol splash instead of a balm. This one, Italian Citrus, is designed to be a duplicate of ADP, Acqua di Parma, right? Colonia or something like that. Got a little bit of sting to it. These are a little overpriced these days. They used to be priced at $12 or $15, and Fine's aftershaves I think were probably worth that back then. But these days I recommend getting them on the used market if you want to get them. If you want to pay an extra several dollars, then do it. It's up to you. But he raised his prices a couple years ago, and it does not quite seem to match the quality that you're getting. But maybe that's what he had to do because of the economic climate. So the brush did great today. I don't think I felt really any prickle. I really enjoy the splay and the softness. It's funny to say sometimes it has prickle, but it's also really soft, and that's just the nature of the horse. That splay, the ease of the bending of the bristles is part of what brings that softness to play there. As I told you, the razor and the blade worked flawlessly today. I don't think I could expect any better from this razor, and indeed, even if I compared it to other razors, it was just a wonderful, perfect match there, where I knew that I was cutting, but it was just doing it perfectly without bothering the skin at all, but bothering all the stubble. And that's kind of what we want. I have discovered I use this Italian Citrus aftershave for several days in a row. It is one that does start to grate on me after a while. And so we'll see if all it takes is one day to be annoyed with it again. But it's very enjoyable, but it's a little on the tart side. And I think that is what maybe gets with me. But it's just a splash. It's not an EDP. So, you're probably looking at it being gone in a few hours anyway. So we'll see what happens there. I think that's pretty much it. It's off to church. It's super rare that I do a Sunday morning shave, but for some reason I got up and got the kids ready to go, and I discovered I was an hour early, and I thought I can do a morning shave because I was a little overdue, and so there we go. The rare. I probably haven't done a Sunday morning shave in 5 years. So definitely not on, I don't think on YouTube. So there we go. All right. Well, um, good shave. Yeah. Top notch in many regards. Celebrating Williams and all the years we have Williams mug soap. And for those of us who have a few pucks in reserve, we're in pretty good shape. And now there are inexpensive soaps that can replace Williams in the sense of a good soap for economical people focused on economy. And so that's good. Arco can still be found for pretty cheap. It's not as good as Williams, but it's really quite good, in my opinion at least. And then we have soaps like Sterling where you can get 5.8 ounces of soap. And for me and my bowl that helps you conserve soap, by nature, it lasts me 13 months. So I think that's a really economical price for soap as well. You've got other hard pucks like Haslinger. Mitchell's Wool Fat I think will last you a nice long time. It's one of those where you might not pay budget prices in the beginning, but it'll just give you so many uses that it'll work out that way anyway. So those are fine accoutrements. Those are the classic pucks. They're pretty much gone now from the stores, so won't mention those. All right, well, that's it for now. Take care, guys, and I hope this video helps you somehow in your shaving journey. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves.